super sweet and hot. Whoop, Mr. Motorama pumpkin spice.
Welcome to Fueled by Death Show. Hey, it's not just a podcast anymore. Get ready, the show's about to begin.
Welcome, everybody, to another Fueled by Death show. This is the companion show to episode 109 of the podcast. We'll get to that in a little bit. And just kick it right off, as always. I am the Incredible Jeff.
And only sometimes I'm the Amazing D-Man.
Like right now.
Like right now.
You're right now. You are the Amazing D-Man.
It's fading quickly.
Well, we better quickly get through this then. If this is your first time joining the show, I want to tell you right at the top of the show, we're giving away a mug. We try to do that every single show, and this show's no different. We're giving away a Space Oddity mug. We know how much you guys love those out there. It's one of my favorite mugs we released last year.
No longer available either.
No longer available. So we have a few kicking around the warehouse, and wanted to give you guys a chance to win one. All you got to do, if you're watching this show live on Wednesday night, you can share the show on Facebook and then drop a comment in those comments. Join the conversation. One lucky comment will be picked at random after this show is over, and you will win this mug. D-Man and myself will sign it and send it right out to you. It's that easy. That's all you got to do. Share and comment.
I would have to say it's more of a cereal bowl than a mug.
It really is. It's so big. It's so big.
It's crazy.
It's awesome.
It's crazy.
You know what I like to put in it.
Chili.
Anyway. We'd love it if you followed us on social media. Personally, it's very easy to do. I am at Jeff Wish Coffee.
And I am at Death Wish Dustin.
And please follow the show. We now have social media for Fueled by Deathcast. We're at Fueled by Deathcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we're trying to do some really fun stuff throughout 2019. We're trying to grow these channels as a way to interact with all of you. So please follow, like and comment and share on everything we're doing over there on social media. And you won't be disappointed, I promise. We're going to do some fun stuff this year. And speaking of social media.
And fun stuff.
You guys know it. If you don't, go to your social media and follow Christian Slater. At Real Christian Slater on Instagram. At Christian Slater on Twitter. I don't really think he Facebooks that much. We should make him a Facebook page.
He's got to have a Facebook fan page, right?
I'm sure he does, yeah.
I mean,
he
does. He's kind of God. He needs a fan page.
A lot of celebrities really don't utilize Facebook as much. Like, they use like a fan page where it's just like, this is what's happening.
Because Facebook is a fucking mess.
It is a mess. But he does Instagram and Twitter, and we always push it out there for people to follow him because we love Christian Slater so much. And in fact, we love him so much that we've now started talking about his career as a whole. And one of the things that we started doing is really just going through his IMDb page and just talking about some of our favorite movies and TV shows that he's been in.
Well, more of your favorite movies.
You haven't seen a lot of them. It's true.
Well, this is the third or fourth one
that we've done?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we've done more than that. But
as far as like showing the movies that he's been in,
I think we've done more than that.
I think I've seen most of the movies. The only one that I didn't see was
True Romance.
It was True Romance.
And now you've seen it.
Yeah, which now I've seen it. Sorry for that.
Well,
but
this week, I think, is another one that you haven't seen, but
Nope.
I've seen a lot of you out in the comments the last couple of weeks talking about this movie, and that is Heathers. So you've never seen Heathers,
Nope,
right?
never
Okay.
seen Heathers.
But I did say this off camera. You have seen the movie Mean Girls.
Yes.
Which is technically Tina Fey took the idea of Heathers and ported it into a, now situation.
Right.
And made it a lot less weird because fans of this movie out there can attest. Christian Slater plays a psychopath in this movie, which is crazy. And before I get into it, I'll play the shortest clip I can of Heathers without getting in trouble, and here's that.
I mean, today was great. Chaos is great. Chaos is what killed the dinosaurs, darling.
So yeah, 1988 was a completely different time, and the premise of this movie is that Winona Ryder's character comes to the school as a new girl in school and befriends the cool kids, and they all those girls happen to be in a clique called the Heathers because they're all named Heather.
Yeah.
And she quickly realizes that these girls aren't really as cool as they make themselves out
Do
to
they
be.
do something mean to her?
Yeah. And she befriends the resident psychopath, JD, who is played by Christian Slater. And this movie is, I like this movie because I watched it as a kid, and but rewatching it as an adult, and in today's society, it does not hold up. Like right in the beginning of the movie, Christian Slater brings a gun to school, brandishes it at a teacher, or brandishes it, I believe, at everybody in the lunchroom, and gets detention for it.
We should burn that book, Jeff. That shouldn't be out there.
It's ridiculous, like, because now, I mean, like, that is like,
Yeah, no, you
obviously,
can. Yeah,
you
no.
cannot. You cannot. Do
Imagine
that.
if you did and just like pretended that things aren't the way they are now. It's man.
Oh my God! But I have to say, in the lexicon of Christian Slater appearances and, you know, movies that he's been in, he does a great job being this psychopath in this movie. Because
Well,
it is, again, peak Christian Slater.
Come on.
1988.
Christian Slater is America's bad boy.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
I mean, that's why we love him so much.
Why we talk about him every
That's
week.
why we're sitting here talking about him for like at least like 10 minutes. This is pretty funny. What has this turned into?
I don't know.
Welcome to the Christian Slater podcast.
If you haven't checked out Heathers, go check out that movie. It doesn't hold up. You should see it. You should watch it, even though you've never seen it. You should watch it just so you can say you've seen it.
My favorite characteristic of Christian Slater is his hair.
I kind of like his eyes.
Oh, they are piercing.
You kind of get lost in there. Anyway, anyway. I have to say, because we love him so much, I think we love him even more than.
Can we
Christian
talk
Slater.
about Brock for 10 minutes too, at least?
That is Brock Powell.
BrockFox.com.
Brock is the voice actor on this show and 1,000 voices out there in the world. Go follow him on social media. Follow him at brockfox.com. Check out all the cool stuff he's going to be doing in 2019. He's got some stuff in the works that I cannot wait to tell you guys, but I can't yet because he probably shouldn't have even told me because it's not stuff that's even out there yet. But it will be. He's going to do some really cool stuff. He's going to be doing a lot of voice work this year, and it's really fun to follow his career. And I'm so happy that he's a part of this show. He's been a part of this show since its inception, and I love Brock to death, and I hope you guys do too. And stick around, guys. We got a great show coming up. On the update at the end of the show, we're going to be talking about some more mug details. I feel like we've been talking about those a lot lately, but that's really cool. And we're going to give you a sneak peek of the next issue of the comic book, which is really cool.
Oh, you mean comic book with Ron Mars?
Yeah.
And a cover artist, Joe Jusko?
That's the one. We'll talk all
Oh my
about
God.
that on the update. We're also going to show you a sneak peek of tomorrow's podcast with special guest Karli Taylor, who is a yoga instructor and innovator. It's a great episode that we'll show you a little bit. You're going to meet this week's Death Star of the Week, Chris Alston. We're going to roast some weird fashion trends from 2018 called meme fashion. It's stuff that I didn't even know existed.
It's going to be tough to beat the romper.
It is, but this
Or the
will be
romp him.
close. You're going to see some stuff that's some mind-blowing stuff.
I still got to get a romper.
Yes, you do. And then coming right up, we got some really cool stuff on science, some mysteries in space.
Mystery Science?
Secret code unlocked. Discount of death.
Man, if you're listening to us right now, we have always an awesome deal going for this podcast. You can get 12% off of everything on deathwishcoffee.com if you just use the discount code discount of death.
All one word. You just type it in at checkout after you've made all of your ideas of purchases on deathwishcoffee.com. And we got some really cool stuff up on the site right now. We got some really cool stuff coming up.
Oh, yeah.
That we're going to talk about, in the next couple weeks and months and stuff. So that code will work forever. Every single purchase you make, you just type in discount of death, all one word, and you get 12% off. It's because we love you guys. It really
Much love.
is.
Tons of love.
Tons of love.
I'm just bursting at the seams with love right now.
He doesn't sound it, but he really is. And we really
yeah.
do. We want you guys to save money. We want you guys to get all of the coffee and merchandise that you want. And discounted death for 12% off. I can't think of a better way.
Science!
All right. On science this week, we got some deep space mysterious stuff. which is really fun. And in some of it, we've talked about on previous episodes, which is why I love doing this science segment, because if you follow the show and have been following it since its inception, we've done this segment regularly. In fact, it used to be on the podcast forever, and now it's on the mini episodes and on the show. But, some of these topics we talked about as they began, and now we're learning more data, new data, so it's fun to constantly revisit this kind of stuff.
I think there's like 3 main parts of science developments that we're covering right now, which is, the launch of something new and exciting, developments of that project that are new and exciting, and then afterwards analyzing the data from those things.
Correct. And this one is pretty crazy. I'm going to start off with, if you guys haven't heard about this actually made national news. It's pretty cool. Scientists found 13 mysterious fast radio bursts from deep in the universe.
That's the shit Michio Kaku was talking about. I knew it.
Yeah. Now, we did talk about this on a much, much earlier episode, but this is really neat. Astrophysicists from CHIME, which is the Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment collaboration, have spotted these 13 new fast radio bursts, or FRBs, from far outside the Milky Way. Now, FRBs have durations of milliseconds and exhibit the characteristic of dispersion sweep of radio pulsars. So, like, real kind of fast kind of radio stuff. And we're always scanning the sky with CHIME, with SETI, with these different things. We're scanning the sky for this kind of stuff. And the universe itself is a cacophony of sounds. There are a lot of low-frequency, high-frequency sounds coming from all sorts of different stuff. But these are different because they're like, I don't know, there's something a little bit different about these radio bursts. These events emit as much energy in 1 millisecond as the sun emits in 10,000 years.
Whoa, could this be like the bursting of a dwarf star, or like...
Exactly. It could be that. It could be a planet dying.
Yeah.
It could be a myriad of different things. That
could
we
be
don't
a big
understand.
bang happening on the other side of the universe, starting a new universe.
Exactly. And I have a photo here, I believe. Yeah, this is CHIME. That is the huge array.
That's so cool.
Like, you're basically sitting on the dish right there, and there's multiple dishes, like, just
I can't
pointing
not
at the
think
sky.
of frequency.
Frequency, yeah.
I can't not think of it.
So, astronomers have spotted 13 of these extragalactic light flashes, boosting the known population by about 20%. This new haul of 13 FRBs actually gives us the second ever detected repeating FRB. Now, we found one of these, I want to say, about a year ago, and now we found the second one, which is great because now we can compare the data between the two.
Yeah.
And what that is all of these other FRBs that we're finding basically blip on the radar and then they're gone, then they never come back. But now that we found the second one, that we know of 2 in the universe that have repeated, so it's something that's pushing this radio signal out a couple times. Now, again, your mind, my mind, everybody's mind immediately goes, aliens!
You know what? I think I've gotten a little bit more calloused from that.
Right. It's not necessarily aliens. In fact, Ingrid Stairs, an astrophysicist at the University of British Columbia, said, knowing that there is another repeater suggests that there could be more out there. And with more repeaters and more sources available for study, we may be able to understand these cosmic puzzles, where they're from, and what causes them. The majority of these 13 FRBs detected showed signs of scattering, which is a phenomenon that reveals information about the environment surrounding the sound of the radio waves.
So it's almost like a sonar or radar.
Ish. And the amount of scattering observed by the team led them to conclude that the sources of these FRBs are powerful astrophysical objects, more likely to be in locations with special characteristics. Dr. Cherry an astronomer at the University of Toronto.
By the way, last name is literally the
NG.
letters N and G.
Yeah, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Dr. Cherry says that could mean in some sort of dense clump like a supernova remnant, kind of like what you just said, or near the central black hole in a galaxy. But it has to be in some special place to give us all the scattering we see. And Dr. Tom Landecker, a scientist at the National Research Council of Canada, went on to say, we now know the sources can produce low-frequency radio waves, and those low-frequency waves can escape their environment and are not too scattered to be detected by the time they reach Earth. This tells us something about the environments and the sources. We haven't solved the problem, but it's several more pieces in the puzzle. Now, what I like to think about is, sure, it could be supernova. Sure, it could be a star dying or forming or something like that we know of in the universe. But then my mind starts to wander into science fiction and think of Star Wars or think of Star Trek and think of and I'll use Star Trek as an example. Shout out to JJ Joe, actually, who sent us our awesome Enterprise, who is now on our shelf. But
so awesome.
Think of Star Trek. Star Trek has warp power because they have to find a thing called dilithium crystals, right? Which is completely science fiction. There is no such thing as dilithium crystals
yet
that we know of. What if these radio bursts are from elements reacting, and we don't even know about those elements? My example is that we know about nuclear fusion, nuclear fission, because those are the way elements that we know reacting, uranium and things, reacting, and we know what those reactions happen. If there are elements in the universe that we don't even know exist, and then they're reacting with other elements, maybe they're creating these radio bursts, and we had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's radioactive.
It's radioactive, exactly.
But this makes me think of a couple things, but mostly, one, is it harmful?
Right.
Like, who knows? Who knows? There's so many things we don't know in the universe, and if a radio blast like this hits a part of the Earth directly, should we be worried?
Maybe.
Probably not.
Probably not, yeah.
But the thing that I'm most interested in is something like this can really help us map the universe.
Of course, because we're finding this is a signal. So now we're going to start training stuff on that part of space, and who knows?
Right, and everything that radio wave had to move around.
Yes,
we can start mapping out.
Right, it's like you've got the finish line, and you start. 'Cause we are the finish line.
Yes.
So you start working backwards to the starting point.
Right, the areas where the radio wave didn't go through are areas where there is mass.
Yes,
you can measure that.
Yes,
and we can start literally making a map of areas that we've never even thought to be able to discover.
Yeah, it's really cool. I definitely recommend, if you guys aren't following stories like this, look up science blogs, look up that kind of stuff, because you can really dive into stuff like this and find a ton of information out there. And it's constantly being updated because we're in real time dealing with this data. I'm telling you about this data, and there are scientists at this very moment finding out more about what I'm talking about.
They could have made the most giant discovery of our lifetime right now.
It's so cool. And speaking of cool, another thing we've talked about on this show is a spacecraft called TESS. And TESS we talked about when it got launched, and it is specifically orbiting the Earth, training itself on parts of the universe, looking for exoplanets, looking for other planets that could support life. And it's found its third one. Now, as I'm talking, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a video that is a nice animation of some of the planets that TESS has already found. But this third one is named HD 21749b, and we know that it is 2.8 times the size of Earth, which puts it in the category of, think about like a little smaller than Neptune.
Okay, that's
Okay?
pretty. That's pretty
big.
damn big.
And it also has a mass about 23 times that of Earth, which is very big.
Wow, so it's got some weight to it, huh?
Yeah.
Which means it has some gravity to it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is cool. But it is unlikely that this planet is rocky and therefore habitable. It is more likely made of gas and a kind of that is much denser than the atmospheres of either Neptune or Uranus. So that is kind of mind-blowing just in itself, because we have this planet that we know of that might be predominantly gas, but is way heavier than our planet, which is predominantly rock.
Yeah, how's that work?
There are very heavy gases in the universe, and you put them all together, and you can, look at Jupiter, for example,
That doesn't seem like a place we could live. But
no, but there could again, when we talk about life in the universe, we know how us as carbon-based life forms can live on a planet like Earth. Who knows what maybe could live on a planet like HD 21749b
in an ocean. Of gas.
Right.
I never even thought of that.
It orbits a K-type star about 80% of the sun's mass and located 53 light years away in the southern constellation Reticulum. I cannot pronounce anything right, but I'll put that up here. This is an actual photo taken from TESS of the area of the of space where this planet is found, which is pretty neat. And the planet's journey around its parent star is about 36 days compared to 2 other small planets that TESS has discovered. And the planet's surface is likely around 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Relatively cool given the proximity to its star, which is almost as bright as the sun. Dr. Dragomir, which I love his name.
That's awesome.
Said it is the coolest small planet that we know of around a star this bright. We know a lot about atmospheres of hot planets, but because it's very hard to find small planets that orbit farther from their stars and are therefore cooler, we haven't been able to learn much about these smaller, cooler planets. But here we were lucky and caught this one and can now study it in more detail. And that's really excellent that TESS has only been in space for less than a year even and is already, I mean, the data we're getting from it is just crazy. Like,
already had 3 hits.
We
That's
put it
awesome.
out there being like, hope it finds something, and it's 3 hits
in a year.
It's incredible. And these are this is just a list of all of the different missions that are currently up there, and then ones obviously that we're going to be putting up in the future, looking for these different.
That's such a cool diagram. I don't know why. Seeing all those satellites
so cool.
next to each other.
And sure, like we've mentioned earlier, like some of these aren't even like Kepler. Its mission is over now. Hubble, unfortunately, just broke last week, so we're working on ways to hopefully fix it. But we're going to be putting in future exoplanet missions in the next couple years as well. And finally, what's even more exciting are the hints that this system, where HD 21749 it holds a second candidate planet about the size of Earth that orbits the star every 8 days. If this is confirmed, we haven't even confirmed this yet, but if it's confirmed, this would be the smallest exoplanet TESS has found to this date. And that's what's really fun is like we get to even report on science that scientists are like, well, we think that's a planet. We think that might be a thing.
Yeah.
We got to look through the data and we got to look at it a couple more times and make sure, but it could be that. So we're finding stuff, again, as I'm talking to you, which is great. And if you guys are just, one more time, if you guys are just listening to this on our mini episode on the podcast, you can go on over to the Facebook page, Fueled by Deathcast on Facebook, and I'll have all the photos that we've been talking about right up on that Facebook page, and you can follow along with the show.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Good, good. It is a fully operational Death Star of the week.
All right, guys. Normally, I say, and I'm going to say it still anyways, if you're not a fan or a friend of the official Death Wish Coffee Company community page over on Facebook, go join that community. It's great. It's over 4,000 strong. And I usually pull from this community to feature somebody on the Death Star of the Week.
Well, there's more than one community out there of this company. And
so many.
And I think one unspoken of community that exists on its own, whether it knows it exists or not, is the Instagram community of Death Wish Coffee. And it is all these people follow each other. They comment on each other's posts. They make all these awesome inspirational posts. But yeah, Chris is one of these guys.
Yeah, and I follow hashtag DeathWishCoffee on Instagram, so I see a lot of your posts out there.
Same.
And that's how I found this week's Death Star, Chris Alston. And if you've never met Chris, you're going to meet him right now. So, Chris, thank you so much for joining us on the Death Star segment this week. And I want to just start like we normally start, but I want to get into some other stuff as we go. Speaking of Death Wish Coffee, when was the first time you heard about the coffee or the company? Like, what year was it? How did you hear about it?
It was late 2012, honestly. And to give you some reference, I work for a convention called Dragon Con. And I do security for them. And my girlfriend's parents have long been involved with that convention. And Death Wish Coffee fuels the security department, like hands down. So when I first started coming in around that time, I was introduced to it by my girlfriend's family. And at that point, it was pretty much, oh, one of our buddies from New York brought this sweet coffee down. You got to try this. And so I did. However, at the time, I was quite a broke college student, so wasn't able to continually order it and that kind of thing. But after I graduated college, you know, I got to a point where I was working my first job and I was drinking probably a pot of coffee by myself during the day. And I was like, this has to change. Oh, there's that Death Wish coffee thing. So I started ordering it, and as they say, the rest is history.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So yeah, at that point you said you were drinking like a pot to yourself. How much of coffee do you drink a day now?
Honestly, just about 2 cups.
Nice.
I mean, granted they're the big Deneen mugs, but still way down from a whole pot by myself.
Totally. And what's your go-to brewing method?
Well, for convenience, because I'm not the most morning person, I just have a pour over machine that fresh grinds it and then hit a button and the water goes through and,
I mean, look, we talk about on these segments all the time how great a Chemex is and how great, the different brewing methods are. But there's something to be said about a machine that you just hit the button that says coffee and coffee magically appears in your cup. I love that.
Yes.
And I do want to mention, because I think it's just so cool, and how I actually found you on Instagram, because you tag Deathwish Coffee, hashtag us all the time, wear the merchandise, talk about the coffee, but you do it from one of the coolest things that you do. You are, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're an aerialist, right?
Yeah, aerialist. That's a good way of putting it.
How did you get into that? It looks so amazing. It's like you guys are like doing like the craziest, coolest circus performances.
I mean, we got to go way back here.
Okay.
When I was 5, my parents took me to see Cirque du Soleil for the first time, and it left such an impression. I remember getting in arguments with my mom during high school of, I'm going to run away to the International Circus School of Montreal and join the circus. And that didn't happen. But when I graduated college and got my first job here in Greenville, I was just looking for something else to do. And I was kind of looking into this thing called acro yoga. More on that in a little bit. But turned out there was a studio that does it in Greenville. And so I started going to classes, and I was going to 1 class, and then I was doing 2 classes. And then it got to the point I was at the studio 5 days a week, and I actually asked my instructor, I was like, how do I become an instructor and really get into this? And she kind of gave me this look of like, I am so glad you asked. The next month I was on a plane to California and took my first certification class for Acro Fit under Acro Yoga International. And 3 months after that, I was in a certification class for Lyra, which is the hoop thing you see me doing a lot. And I've been training and practicing ever since. So really just from age 5 till now is just something I've always wanted to do, and just happened to be in the right place at the right time with the right people.
Well, it is really cool to follow you on Instagram and see all the awesome stuff that you've been able to achieve. And it's even cooler because half the time you're wearing a Deathwish Coffee shirt, and that's pretty rad too.
Absolutely.
And I gotta end this by asking the question I ask everybody, because I'm always curious, especially somebody like you who found the company, you said, in 2012. So you've been a fan of this company pretty much since the beginning. You've seen us grow from a basement to the Super Bowl to the space station and beyond. And through everything we've done, whether it's the coffee, the mugs, the merchandise, is there anything that we haven't tried that you'd like to see us try?
Oh, man. I know it jokingly came up one time, but for me personally, I would love some Death Wish yoga pants.
Yeah. I mean, the pants. Everybody talks about pants, and I'm with you, man. Like, I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, really just anything apparel wise, I'm down for. Death Wish isn't just a coffee; it is a lifestyle, and the more I can fuel that lifestyle, the happier I'll be. So, for me personally, because I wear yoga pants way too often, yoga pants.
Awesome. Well, I love that idea, and like I've said on previous ones, like we've made a lot of apparel. We've yet to crack the pants game, so you can have the full Death Wish uniform. But I think in 2019 we might be doing something. I don't know if it's yoga pants. I don't know what it is, but I'm hoping we're going to do some sort of pant, and then hopefully that'll just open the floodgates and we'll do them all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to more in 2019. I'm looking forward to seeing more from you as well. And honestly, I can't thank you enough for taking time and talking with us on the Death Star this week.
No problem.
Welcome back to the show.
Okay, guys, so welcome back, but I'm going to take the second real quick. If you're watching this show live on Wednesday and you haven't yet, make sure you share the show on Facebook and drop a comment in those comments. One lucky comment will be picked after this show is over to win this Space Oddity mug. Demon and myself will sign it and send it right out to you. I love this mug so much. In fact, we made Deneen Pottery create this galaxy glaze for this mug, and now it's on their website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so other people will be able to make mugs with the galaxy glaze.
Jesus,
that
we should have
created.
copyrighted it.
Hey, I'm just happy that a glaze that cool will show up on other people's mugs. I think that's rad that we kind of push them in that direction.
I don't know. If you use it on your mug, I'm coming for you. I want you to know that.
So this is our new segment that we've been trying out. I've been liking it. I think you guys have been liking it too. I've been tentatively calling it Pop Goes the Culture. It's a little segment where Demon and myself can talk about stuff that we've been digging in the last week because we love to talk about stuff that we like. So I thought it was a good way to get on a soapbox and talk about that kind of stuff. And Dustin, I know you've been pretty busy this last week. We've been doing a lot in 2019 here at Death Wish Coffee, so it's been a lot on your plate. But you have to balance the downtime with the uptime. And in your downtime, you've been enjoying something pretty cool.
I wouldn't say I'm balancing that downtime, by the way. It's been a very heavy unbalance this last week, but it's the way it goes. But I do like to unwind when I can.
Yeah.
And every now and then, it's time for a new video game.
We're big gamers. We love our video games, especially ones that we can sink our teeth into.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorites, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I got to say, compared to what was the name of the last one? Origins.
Yeah,
which
the one in Egypt.
I loved Origins.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
These are the things I love about these games is that they recreate the past on which you can wander around and be a hero in.
Yeah.
How fucking cool is that?
Yeah.
And the last one with Origins was great. You can wander around ancient Egypt, and that was so cool. And the pyramids and the Sphinx, and I think they do such an awesome job of this. But, man, Odyssey nails the Greek culture perfectly.
That's awesome.
It is fun, and it seems like they took the last system from Origins and built upon that, refined it. I picked up the game, and I was immediately good at it, which is tough to find sometimes. But they added in things like dialogue options, which I think are fun, gives it more of a role-playing feel.
Kind of like Mass Effect.
Yeah, kind of like Mass Effect, and they do give you a choice of character in the beginning of the game, which you don't usually get.
Oh, wow.
You can pick a male or female character.
Oh, wow.
Which
That's cool.
I thought was very cool. So I imagine the storyline might be a little bit different for the female character.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've only gotten about maybe 6 hours in.
That's still a good chunk. Enough that you know if it's a good game or not.
It's awesome. I mean, Assassin's Creed, it's hit or miss. Sometimes they started out strong and they were amazing, and then they had a little bit of a lull, like a kind of small downgrade, then a little bit of a lull, and then they came back with the Origins, I believe. I think they came back to a character that you could fall in love with, and control setting and atmosphere that you can really just dig into, and they're just continuing that journey here with Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I can't wait to play it. I thoroughly enjoy the Assassin's Creed games. I had the same problem. I thought they did really well in the beginning, and then it got to the point where it felt like you were just going through the motions in some of those games. Where it was the same kind of, same boss, same enemies, same kind of, button mashing kind of thing, and that gets just tedious after a while. But the world building has always been amazing.
Yeah.
In fact, I heard this story, and I don't know if it's true or if it's just internet fodder, but I heard this story about a class, like a student trip to Italy.
Yes.
And did you hear this story?
No, but I can tell you what's going to happen. Somebody's going to know how to make their way
Yeah.
around a city.
So this class was in Italy, and the teacher wanted to bring them to this one museum or whatever, and was kind of meandering them through the streets and got lost. And one of the students like looked around for a minute and went, "Oh, I know how to get there," and literally took them through some back areas, some back roads and stuff, and within 10 minutes, they were at this museum, and the teacher was like, "How have you been to Italy? How did you do this?" And they're like, "No, I've never been to Italy, but I play a lot of Assassin's Creed."
I mean, they really recreate these
Yeah.
worlds. I mean, they started doing that with racing games where it's like you can actually race in these cities.
Yeah, real cities.
And
yeah.
I think that's kind of what started to kick off this trend in video games to pick this idea up. But Assassin's Creed, I mean, they didn't start doing that at first, but once they get into timelines where they actually know the structure, especially in a place like Italy where it's like it's not much different now than it was hundreds of years ago.
Right.
So they can actually like perfectly recreate every single street, every single building in some of these cities. And if there's blank spots, they get to be creative. And I think they just nail that so well.
That's so cool. Well, I'll definitely be picking this game up too, but for me this week,
I'm excited for yours, just as
what
much as
I'm
you're
very
excited. Maybe more.
for, because the trailer hit last week and it premieres on Friday. Punisher Season 2. Oh, yes! I'll take this moment because I know Dustin always likes me to have this in the show every time we can put it in there. The dumbest photo I've ever taken with me and John Bernthal, and I'll put that up right here. But I love John Bernthal's portrayal of the Punisher. The Punisher is one of my favorite comic book characters because he was introduced in Amazing Spider-Man as literally a hitman for the Kingpin. The Kingpin was like, here's this dude who is ex-military and very good at shooting people, and I want you to kill Spider-Man. And that was the first time you met him. He was trying to kill Spider-Man. And spoiler, it didn't work because Spider-Man's awesome. But the amazing people at Marvel took this character who could have just been a throwaway Kingpin henchman, you know, and really extrapolated on him, and he's become such an incredible part of the Marvel Comics universe. In fact, he's had a lot of cool adventures with Wolverine.
Yep.
And they did this. If you guys are fans of the Marvel movies, they did a Marvel movie called Captain America: Civil War, which was based on an entire line of comics called Civil War in the comics, and the Punisher had a huge role in that. Now, in the movies, he didn't because he wasn't introduced in there, but he had a very big role in the comic like landscape of that. But to translate him onto screen, it's always been hit or miss. There was the Thomas Jane movie.
Yep.
There was the movie after that, Punisher War Games. That
was terrible.
I can't remember who played him in that.
There was nobody.
There was a Punisher in the 80s that was really bad.
They had Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher.
Yeah. And they just never were able to really hit the mark. Netflix has taken the reins and made it amazing. Now, we've seen them cancel all of the Marvel properties because, in my mind, I believe that Disney, because Disney's coming out with their streaming service, wants everything under their own boat.
Listen,
so we'll probably see that happen.
They're not just going to cancel the biggest money makers that they have. That's not what's going on. Don't worry.
But I am so excited. So we might see Punisher get canceled right on the heels of it coming out. But I'm very excited for this second season. The first season actually Daredevil season 2, we got introduced to the character.
Yep.
And then the first season of Punisher really delved into his origin of how, he's ex-military, but, through some shady dealings, his family was killed in front of him, his wife and his child, and it kind of made him nuts. And he wants to go punish people for it. And we got that really cool origin story. And now with season 2, we don't need any of that. They're not going to hold our hand. Right from the get-go, it's going to be action, and it's already being called some of the best action on television in 2019.
You saw how they nailed it with the newest season of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Where, that scene in the jail.
Yeah.
Where there's no cutscenes.
Yeah.
And I know that they're switching from the actor to the stuntman.
Right.
In the middle of a fight scene. And even had dialogue. One camera.
Yeah.
One angle.
Yeah.
Probably 20, 30-minute long scene. That
Yeah.
means if they have any mess ups in that 20 or 30 minutes of high intensity action, character changing,
Yep.
dialogue,
Yep.
even if somebody says their line wrong, goes for a second, they have to reshoot
Right.
that entire thing with explosions and people getting kicked.
And I'll tell you this,
it's
too.
amazing.
I'll tell you this, too. When it comes to John Bernthal, I love him as an actor because he is willing to put the work in.
Yes, he trains.
There is a lot where you would
Yes.
think it's a stunt double, and it's not. It's
No.
John. John has trained with the Marine Corps. He's trained with the military, and he knows the ins and outs of that. He's very, very versed in what he's doing on screen. And not only that, I heard from season 2 that what they deal with a lot with the Punisher, which makes the character with so many layers, is that not only is he dealing with the revenge of, his family being killed, murdered, but he's also dealing with a terrible PTSD from being in the military.
It's a really interesting view that they bring to
and the
that,
stuff
too.
they've had to deal with that. In season 2, they did as much as they could to employ and put on screen actual veterans. So,
Oh, wow.
so they're dealing with this in the most pure way they possibly can and not trying to Hollywoodize it. you know?
Right.
They're putting real people in these things. So I think that's really, really cool. And I'm so excited. Friday it premieres. Probably you'll not be able to get a hold of me all weekend because I'm probably just going to lock the doors and shut the shades. And
I
just-
need one day.
Yeah.
10
hours or
One
12 hours,
24-hour
yeah.
period. I will watch that whole
Yeah.
fucking thing. There is nothing stopping me.
Oh, I can't wait. So I'll give you my full report on it probably next
Hey,
week.
I got kind of a theory. Netflix original series and movies and stuff like that, they have a certain feel to them.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. Nothing's Hollywoodized.
Right.
Not a single thing that they put out that I can think of. What are you thinking of?
We want to talk about Netflix original properties. I was just talking about the other day. I forget what the heck it was called, but it was a Netflix original movie that I think is one of the worst movies put out in the.
Oh, they
in recent
definitely put
time,
out some horrible content.
which was
They're
very Hollywoodized.
Was it?
It was. This is how it ends, or this is. It was the post-apocalyptic movie about like the family trying to get away from the apocalypse, and like the whole time you're like, how are they gonna do it? And then it gets to the end, and spoiler, there's no fucking ending, and it's so annoying, and it's like the worst writing I've ever.
I feel like I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
It was the worst.
But you have to keep in mind, there are Netflix original movies and series, and there are Netflix bot properties.
Correct.
So somebody else makes it, and then they buy it and put it out as their property.
Correct.
And sometimes that's where you'll run into the really bad stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know who's on that branch
The-
of Netflix, but they're doing a bad job.
The other side of it is probably one of the best things that they've put out or anybody has put out in the last handful of years. Stranger Things, 100%.
Yeah.
Incredible and not Hollywoodized.
Yeah.
It's as real as it comes. It's in a fantasy sense.
Yes.
But so cool. So those are the things we're excited about this week.
Yeah, we're really
And,
excited, obviously.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun to talk about them.
I smell a roast.
Okay, D-Man. So the roast this week. Again, I like roasting stuff that we know nothing about because more often than not, it pisses us off.
Yeah, ignorantly angry. That should be the new name of this
And
section.
one thing that we've roasted before a couple times is fashion.
Which we
because
know nothing about.
We know nothing
Oh
about
my God.
fashion. And, a lot of times, I know you guys probably watching and listening at home probably think the same thing. When you see stuff that's like high-end fashion, like New York Fashion Week or, like the fashion stuff in France or like whatever, I know when I see that kind of stuff, I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah, my eyes glaze over.
Yeah,
I start
know.
thinking about work.
I just don't get it, but good, like they're just like, I want to preface this by saying, just like there are incredible painters and there are incredible musicians, they're incredible, wood crafters and stuff like that, that people who make some of this fashion are incredible creators. Just because I don't understand
Some
it,
of them.
Just because I don't understand it doesn't mean, like that they're not artists.
No way. No, if I don't understand it, it's shit. That's the rule here in the roast, Jeff.
But I did find this out about 2018, which put me on a rabbit hole of stuff that I just couldn't. I
can't wait to go down this with you,
Oh,
Jeff.
my God. There was a lot of
ready.
ugly fashion coming around in 2018, and it was because of this thing called meme fashion.
I don't understand it. But
The idea that someone in fashion, a fashion creator, designs something for the sole purpose of not selling the fashion, but so it's turned into an Instagram or an internet meme, and therefore goes viral, and therefore gets them more exposure, which will then hopefully lead to sales on other stuff that's actual fashion.
So it's some strange viral marketing campaign, but it's so forced, it's so heavy-handed that we're obviously finding it's completely contrived.
Some of it's fake, but some of it's real. The first
Do
thing
you think they set up like fake catwalks?
I'll get to it.
Just to get. Oh
no,
boy.
they set up fake photo shoots, which is crazy. But I'll get to that.
Here we
This
go.
is the first thing that I found that put me on this rabbit hole, and I don't even know what the hell it's called, but I call it the jacket. It's by a company called Balenciaga.
So they're pretty much being like, make fun of me.
Right.
I dare you, because
Right.
it gives me publicity.
Right. It's like 7 jackets in a row being worn, and it turned itself into a meme. But this is where meme fashion gets a little weird towards consumerism, because people saw this and went, rich people, went, oh my God, I must have that.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
must have that.
So they sold this for $9,000. They made them and sold them for $9,000, which is crazy. So I posed this to everybody on the internet. And again, if you aren't following at Fueled by Deathcast on social media, please do, because especially on Facebook, I'm going to try, and when I get different ideas like this, I'm going to try and ask all of you, have you seen any kind of weird fashion? And I got some fun ones from some people out there. Fan of the show, Jessica Kennedy, showed us these jeans, which I've seen a lot of these before, where it's like you're paying top dollar for jeans like this, and yet they don't even have as much. You couldn't even make shorts out of those.
I couldn't be wearing the most perfect pants for this spot right now. Let me show you something. See that?
But did that happen because you?
I worked for that hole.
Right. Exactly.
I wore these jeans so much that it tore a hole in the knee.
Right. This you buy like this. You buy
Look,
jeans.
this
like
one's.
that.
This is how it starts. Starts as a little hole, right, and then it just opens up. That's how it naturally happens.
I don't understand.
This is ridiculous,
but
though.
a high price tag. Now this one is fake. I did my research on it.
Oh,
and this
okay,
this
good.
next one's fake. It was sent to us.
Oh,
by,
this one isn't fake though.
No, this is real.
Oh my God.
This next one was sent to us by Harley David Gregory Jr. And it was put out by a fake Italian company, but then it was actually sold because people were like, oh, I could actually see myself wearing this. It's fashion called ankle scarves, because that's a thing that you want. You want to wear high-waisted pants, and then your ankles are cold, so you put a scarf around your ankle.
I hope you get stuck in a sewer drain.
What I hope is like they're trying to like leave a subway and they get caught in the door and the subway just drags them down the tracks.
Wow, that's violent, Jeff. Wow, I was like, where's Jeff going with this? He's like, I want you dead. I want you dragged by the subway.
Die.
Oh my God.
But I found this. Speaking of meme, this kicked off a lot of the meme trend fashion out there, and this is done by a 16-year-old.
Oh boy.
Called May, and May is a Photoshop wizard. It is an Instagram account called It's May Memes. Started this whole trend of putting celebrities in giant, oversized jackets.
Oh my God.
And this is fake. This is Photoshop.
Yeah.
But people thought it was real
Oh my
and wanted to
God.
buy these jackets just because a Kardashian happened to be in one. Or I don't know who this is, but there's another one. And it looks hilarious. I mean, it absolutely looks absolutely hilarious.
It's so crazy what trends people will just jump on because they think other people are. It's like, look,
and
we're
that's where
faking you out. That's how bad this is.
And that's where this gets really scary, because like people are like, oh my God, I want these. So Kanye West showed up to one of his friends' weddings in these terrible like slip-on shoes, right? And instead of just that being the meme, It's May Memes took that, ran with it, and photoshopped him to look like that. And people saw this photo again and thought it was real and started to hit up the company and be like, I want these giant shoes that Kanye West is wearing.
Oh my God, is that the future? Everybody's gonna be wearing giant shoes.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. The farther you go down the meme fashion hole, the weirder and weirder it gets. This is probably the weirdest thing I found. Alessandro Michel, who is a very innovative designer, a very innovative fashion designer.
I'm so
took
scared.
he always goes out, does and tries to go to the next level on his runway, on his Fashion Week stuff. He took it to the next level on 2018, and this is terrifying. He had models go down the catwalk, supporting his designs, but also holding fake severed heads of their own heads. I mean, that's some crazy shit,
And
right?
it looks real too. That's
some crazy shit,
Oh my god, it looks so real.
right? Is that fashion? That's
Oh my god, it
horror.
looks so real.
Like, that's horror, right? That's not like fashion.
I want that to pick up. Like, is that where I keep
This
my
is-
money?
This is what I'm saying. It's like people see that and go, I want a severed head of my head that I can hold.
How much is that? Oh, hold on. Let me pull my money out of my severed head.
No, it's in your mouth. You have to
Oh, you have to.
open up your own mouth. And,
You should make choking sounds as you're reaching in it.
Oh my God. It boggles my mind. It really does. It boggles my mind.
Okay, on top of everything, this person did it on purpose to make it creepy. Look at the people they picked.
Oh, of course.
They're literally out of a horror movie.
And again, I guess it's good marketing because, both of these examples of the fashion that this fashion designer is creating aren't too outlandish. It's high fashion. It's nothing, obviously Dustin or myself would be in. But it's high fashion stuff that probably wouldn't have been talked about. It's like,
That's true, yeah,
that looks
yeah.
like okay.
That's
but
quite
because
an
they're
accessory.
carrying their own heads, everybody's like showing these photos. So he's getting a hell of a lot more press for his fashion because of that stunt.
I like this, though.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
It's weird.
Is it weird that I like it?
No, it's not weird at all. Balenciaga again, that company again, they showed up all over on meme fashion again because of these sneakers they came out with called the Triple S Chunky sneakers. These went for $900, and it's the old school, new school version of what they're calling dad fashion. Like the sneakers that you'd find, like a dad from like the early 90s wearing kind of thing. Now, that's innocuous, fine. $900 for sneakers. You and I would never buy that. There's rich people out there who would be like, rappers or whatever would be like, oh my God, I gotta have that because it's so crazy and weird. This spawned meme fashion though. And the same designer started creating entire lines based around these shoes with stuff like that. And it's like, what is that guy even wearing? And he's wearing a shirt that says, "Hi, I don't care, thanks."
I like he's wearing a Russian babushka.
Right. It's like layers upon layers upon layers, and this goes back to that original jacket, where we're just going down this meme hole. Finally, the last example I have for you is this $431 hat called the La Bomba. And it took the Instagram world by storm. Again, this was a fake thing. It was created as a one-off for photo shoots. A giant straw hat. Giant. And it was created for a fashion...
I need that.
It was created for a fashion shoot. Because, again, in the world of fashion photography, this is very striking. Here's another example. It's very, very striking. You're seeing these images that are normal fashion images, but this giant hat, so you're going to, as you're scrolling through your feed, you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. Not only was it kind of weird, people started clamoring to get them, so this company mass-produced them, and then there are knockoffs out there for $400.
I will say, Jeff, this seems a little bit more practical. It's a wearable umbrella.
Yes, it is a wearable umbrella.
And you can shade your entire body
And
with
other people's bodies.
with one giant stupid hat. Come gather, family. Come gather around me. I don't want anybody sunburnt.
Yeah. And again, let your freak flag fly. Do what you love. I'm all for it. Be who you are. Wear what you want to wear. Obviously, we're not fashion conscious or fashion forward or anything, but I did want to roast this because this is kind of stuff in the fashion world that I never even knew existed. I saw that jacket photo in a meme. This is the meme fashion working.
Yeah.
I saw it in a meme and I was like, my brain went, that's not real, right? So I Googled it, found out it was real, found out that it was considered meme fashion.
And you're already giving this more attention than it would have ever gotten in the first place.
Right. Then I went and Googled meme fashion and went down that rabbit hole, and that's how I got to all of this in the roast.
Oh, my God.
Again, all of this before I ever saw that meme. Never knew it existed. Never even knew. It's so crazy to me that there's this part of the culture that just is literally rabid for things that don't even exist in fashion.
Well, perhaps we should bury this again because I don't want to think about it for too much more.
I'm with you.
Oh, man.
Yikes.
D-Man's Death Wish Update. Brought to you by Death Wish Coffee.
Last week, D-Man, we said it was going to be a surprise, so we're just going to surprise you right now. Tomorrow is the white whale.
It's happening.
Oh, my gosh. So we've never done this before. We've been really enjoying doing Golden Ticket Days because it's a lot of fun, and we decided this year, why not do one for our yearly mug, the 2019 Lumberjack mug, the black mug that we've got all year round. I think it's sold out at the moment.
It is sold out at the moment.
But it'll be back. Again,
there's actually more currently on the way and might even be landing now.
And we can't thank you guys enough for making it sold out. It for a yearly mug. Like I said, we get Deneen to make as many as they can at a rip, and then we put them on the website. And if you guys dig them, you buy them, and you sold them out the first run of them. It's
crazy.
It's great, but they'll be back soon.
Yeah.
But tomorrow is a golden ticket day, so every single purchase made on deathwishcoffee.com will have a chance to win one of these white whales, and it is an all-white mug. I love this freaking mug. Even the backsplash is white.
Yeah.
It just looks like a big marshmallow.
To me, it looks like a bone mug.
Oh, yeah, it's all yes, I like that even better, a bone mug.
But I love the contrast with the all black mug.
Yeah, me too. So this white whale available to some lucky purchasers on deathwishcoffee.com tomorrow. And speaking of mugs, I want to let you guys know that normally when we do a limited release, we do a golden ticket day, and then within a couple weeks, we have the actual release of the mug. Now, last week, we did the golden ticket for our Valentine's Day mug, The Undying Love, with Frankenstein's monster and the Bride of Frankenstein. So that means very shortly, in the next week or so, we're going to release the actual version of this mug, and here it is. I'm really, really excited about it. Now, a lot of people were really liked the golden ticket with the pink and black, and I've seen some comments being like, well, why didn't you do that for the actual release? Because this is Frankenstein's monster, people.
It's got to be green.
It's got to be green.
It's a rule.
Sure, this is our Valentine's Day mug. Sure, we're releasing it around.
But we're Death Wish Coffee. We're not going to be all lovey-dovey all the time.
Yeah, and we
fucking deal with it.
And we want to celebrate Frankenstein's monster. We want to
and his undying love for
Yeah.
his bride.
So that's why this is a nice, slimy monster green. And 5,000 of these mugs, they will be released. The best way to know about it, you're already doing one of those things. You're watching us on the show. We give the update. We try to give you all the stuff about all mugs coming out. The next thing you're going to want to do, subscribe to the newsletter. Subscribe to Death Wish Coffee newsletter, and you'll get updates just like we're giving on when releases are happening and, about mugs and merchandise and that kind of thing. Now, speaking of subscriptions, if you like our coffee and don't want to have to purchase it, go on the site and purchase it every time you run out, you can become a coffee subscriber. And you can set it up, you can tailor it the way you want. Whole bean, ground, K-Cups. You can also have it come every week, every couple weeks, every month, every couple months. You can do it. You can cancel it, come back. But the coolest thing, one of the coolest things about being in the coffee subscription program is that when we release our mugs, you get day early access. So when this mug gets released the day before, all coffee subscribers will get that day early access. So this is the perfect time, if you're not a subscriber, to become a subscriber, because when this mug gets released, you'll be right there getting it the day early. And finally, if you're not a part of our text list, now this is only, I've seen this comment, I want to address this. This is only U.S. based. I apologize to all of our international fans. We're looking for new companies to work with on this text thing, but it's money. It's a lot of back-end kind of tech stuff that I don't even understand when it comes to texting. But the company that we're working with it's just the U.S. based one. But if you are in the U.S. and you want to join our text list, it's very easy. Just text the word mugs to 484848. And the minute that our new limited edition mugs go on sale, you'll get a link in your text messages you can literally click right from your smartphone, buy the mug right away. I'm so excited about this mug.
I love that shape too.
I do too. It's kind of harkens back to the Lucky Larry mug, like way back in the day.
Yeah, or the Cauldron Age, or the Headless Horseman.
The Headless Horseman. Yeah. In fact, I think it is this.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah. It's a great mug. I think it's 16, 18 ounces. It's
16 to 18.
16?
I think that's called the Norg Tankard.
Oh, cool.
I could be wrong.
But yeah, so we're really excited.
No, that's
for
a
that.
Valhalla Java mug. I'm sorry.
We're really excited for that. That's coming out really, really soon. Finally, on the update, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on our comic book. Now, if you don't know, Death Wish Coffee has been releasing a comic book the last couple of years called Odinforce. And this isn't your run-of-the-mill cash grab from a company where we created a story called
Captain Coffee and the Caffeinators.
Yeah, looking for the magic coffee bean to caffeinate the world. Nope, we didn't do that. We wanted to really make an actual comic book. So we got legendary writer Ron Mars to write the book for us. We got artist Rick Leonardi to draw the book for us. Rick is best known for his work on Spider-Man and countless other incredible stuff from Marvel and DC. And we've got painter Joe Jusko fully painting covers for us. Now, we released issue 1 and 2 in the last couple of years, and last year we didn't release number 3. And the only reason that happened is because all of these incredible creators were creating a lot of other incredible stuff.
They're the real deal.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we weren't able to hit the deadline. But this is coming out very soon in the beginning of 2019 for issue number 3. And we're really excited about it. And for the first time ever, I wanted to show you guys some of the black and white pages with none of the writing on them yet. It's just black and white inks and pencils done by Rick Leonardi of the first couple pages of this book.
Oh, damn.
And I'm really excited for it. And as I'm showing you those pages, I just want to explain to you again what this really deals with. If you do have the ability to check out issue 1 and 2, it follows a group of Vikings on their adventures. And what's cooler than Vikings fighting monsters?
Nothing.
If you saw our Super Bowl commercial in Super Bowl 50, it was a bunch of Vikings rowing through a storm, and they went over a waterfall. And as the camera pans out, you realize that the waterfall is actually just a bunch of coffee going into a guy's mouth, and it says Death Wish Coffee, which was a really fun and cool commercial. But we thought, what would happen if that was real, and it was actually the Vikings going over that waterfall? What happens next? And that's how issue 1 starts. And as a very special treat, I'm going to let you all in on this too. We're working with web developers right now and the creators of the comic book. We're going to have these in digital format on our website.
I love digital comic books.
Yeah.
They do such a good job.
So if you never got a chance to get those first 2 issues, you'll still be able to see them and read them right from our website. And when issue 3 hits, it's going to be a freebie. That's the coolest thing. We're going to give it away as a freebie and hopefully have it so all of you guys can enjoy it. And I'm really excited about it. I love this project. This is one of the first actual projects that I worked on with the company before I ever even was a part of the company. I love that we're still doing it, and we've got some really fun stuff in the future with this entire creative team, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, I can't wait,
so
man.
Much fun.
I can't wait to see this.
So that's it for the update, guys. I do want to remind you to please check out tomorrow's awesome podcast episode 109, with yoga instructor and innovator Karli Taylor. Karli is the owner and creator of Bar Flow. She went on to create this program teaching a variety of workshops that are on posture, alignment, corrective programming. It combines aspects of yoga, Pilates, bar, and classic strength training to incorporate strength, endurance, and flexibility into a very invigorating workout. She used to own her own studio, but now she travels the country teaching professionals and workout enthusiasts alike this incredible program. And you can follow her online, and she even has her classes on YouTube, so you can just do it from the your own home and on Instagram and stuff. And we talk about all of that. She really opened my eyes to the way your body works, the way body movement, translates to how you are. And
Jeff's starting yoga tomorrow.
I'm not, but I should. But it was very interesting to talk to her because she's just such a wealth of knowledge. And I saw you learning some stuff, too, because, a lot of what she does isn't just yoga. It really translates towards strength training.
Well, like you said, alignment and corrective movement, that's such a big thing, especially as a 30-something-year-old crazy fitness fanatic. Your body starts to fall apart if you're not using it correctly, and 99% of us are not using it correctly. So somebody like Karli is perfect when it comes to looking into how to maintain your body enough to be at its peak performance and have a pain-free fitness life. And we dig into that, which is great. So if you're into working out at all, this is going to be the episode you want to listen to.
So that episode premieres tomorrow, but I have a sneak peek of our interview with Karli for you guys right here.
And I couldn't find a program that I liked. I traveled. I took bar in Seattle. I took bar in San Francisco. I took bar, you name it. I took bar there. And I couldn't find a class that I really liked everything about. So I was like, I could hate on it and say, I'm just not going to do it, or I could do my own.
Wow. So what this might be a loaded question, but what sets what you do apart from what someone would go into New York or Seattle and go into a bar thing?
So I guess first and foremost, it's not better, it's just different, right?
Right.
So it's vinyasa style. So here's where the yoga comes in.
Okay.
Vinyasa is a type of yoga, and it means it flows from one thing to the next. Its literal translation is it's placing movement with intention. So it's not like you do one set of 8 and then you take a break, and then you do another set and you take a break. It's you do one movement to the next without stopping. So your heart rate goes up, but also all those little muscles that stabilize are working harder. Oh, wow. So the actual movements aren't the big deal.
Right.
It's how you get from point A to point B. That's the big deal.
So I'm guessing this is something that's done barefoot?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's a really important part of it, right, is foot strength. And I from what I hear, yoga, that's one of the best benefits of yoga is foot strength. And that's where, all of energy starts to come from, is from the ground.
Oh my God, absolutely. And we neglect our feet. We think we take care of them because we wear really expensive shoes.
Yeah.
And super
with
supportive
weird arches.
and super supportive sneakers and all sorts of crazy stuff to take care of our feet.
Right.
But really, we're kind of making them worse and weaker in the long run.
Yeah. So for somebody like me, I regularly power lift. Where would something like this help me out?
So all the small stabilizing muscles in your hips and your glutes, that's where your power comes from.
Right.
So it also helps to stretch those muscles, the things that get tight. So if you're doing a lot of squatting, if you're doing a lot of overhead pressing, you're putting a lot of stress on your joints, on your shoulders and your hips.
Yeah, I can feel it sometimes.
So these little tiny movements help to strengthen the muscles around the shoulder girdle and the hip socket.
Right.
So you can generate more power with the big muscles without putting stress on the actual joint.
So this is something that you probably hand off to a lot of trainers that then put it in their program, right?
Yeah, a lot of people don't necessarily teach my program, but they take the exercises and weave them in, kind of like active recovery. So you do some heavy sets of squats or heavy sets of snatches or clean and jerks, and then you put these little tiny hip mobility exercises in between.
So it's something that I do a lot is hip cars.
Oh,
Are you familiar with that? Is that a movement that you work with a lot?
It's similar.
Yeah. So a lot of big rotational stretching, opening up.
Big rotations, stretching, but also little tiny ranges of motion.
Okay.
So you go from the top end to the bottom end, but just small, inch at a time.
All right. Thanks, guys, so much for watching and sharing and liking and commenting and being a fan of the show. One more time, follow us on social media. I am at Jeff Wish Coffee.
And I am at Death Wish Dustin.
And you can follow us on the show across all platforms at Fueled by Deathcast. Thanks so much, guys. We'll be back next week with a brand new show. Goodbye.
Cheers.